So you're thinking about moving to Lake Conroe, or maybe you just want to know more about the lake. You're looking for that Texas lake life here in the Houston area. Well, it gets no better than Lake Conroe. And in today's video, I'm really just going to do a really detailed overview of everything you might want to know about Lake Conroe, whether you're just wanting to come here and visit and boat on the weekends, or you're looking to actually buy here on the lake. And so there's so much that you need to know, starting from its history to which parts of the lake are good for fishing and skiing and where the restaurants are, and really which neighborhoods are gonna be best for you. So we're gonna cover all of that in today's video. So let's get after it right now. Okay, before we dive into today's video, if this is your first time watching our channel and you're really trying to figure out everything there is to know about Houston, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, and we will keep you up to date on everything going on here in Houston. My name's Kyler Ferris. I'm actually born and raised here in Conroe, so I know everything there is to know about Lake Conroe and the surrounding areas. And so if you're looking to move to the Houston area, like we always say, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Let us help you make a smooth move right here to Houston. Let's dive into it. So what I've done right here is I've actually pulled up a map of Lake Conroe. And I think we'll start by just saying, when you look at Houston, there's only 3 major lakes, and probably the best lake as far as boatability, livability, restaurants, all of that is gonna be Lake Conroe. You've got Lake Houston, which is right over here. It's a little smaller. It's kind of a little swampier in my opinion. And then you actually have Lake Conroe up here. So Lake Conroe was developed back in 1973. It took them years, obviously, to dig it, and then they built the dam right here along the south side of the lake. And so the San Jacinto River is the river that's going to feed Lake Conroe. Now, Lake Conroe is a big lake. It's about a 20,000 acre lake, so it's pretty good size. Now, the only other lake really in the Houston area worth mentioning is gonna be Lake Livingston, and it's about 3 times larger, but it's a little bit further outside of town. You'll actually take Highway 59 out of Houston if you live in the Houston Metroplex to get up there. The difference here really is Lake Conroe is close enough into the city where the surrounding cities like Conroe, Montgomery, and Willis are actually like really well developed. I live in Conroe, and it's a very good, robust suburb of Houston, whereas out here in Lake Livingston, it really isn't quite as robust. So when you zoom in on Lake Conroe it looks like kind of a hand. You've got all the kind of finger branches. And so most of lake life on Lake Conroe, as far as development, is going to be on the bottom half of the lake. So you'll see that there's a bridge here. This is called the 1097 bridge. And the 1097 bridge actually bisects the lake. We can switch over to a different view. And so anything south of the bridge right here is going to be bulkheaded for the most part, meaning that they've got like a 3-foot wall that goes into the lake. And so there's going to be a ton of development. Everything pretty much you can see, you've got all these neighborhoods, is developed on Lake Conroe. There's a couple new neighborhoods that they're currently building over here where they're digging out some new canals. So really at this point, the only way to expand on the lake is for them to dig canals. There's not a ton of lakefront lots left. There's a handful of them. So if you are wanting to build a custom home on the lake, it is still an option. You just have to know where to look. So let's go back to this map view. So when you're looking at the lake, like I said, most of the residential living and the boating and the recreational side of the lake is all gonna be down here. So the major road that runs along the bottom half of the lake is Highway 105, and that's the major road that's gonna connect Conroe out to Montgomery. Now, the lake, this whole east side of the lake is gonna be Conroe area. Up over here, you've got Willis, and then you've got Montgomery bordering this side. Now, up north of the 1097 bridge is going to be the Sam Houston National Forest. And so you can see it changes here and it turns green. So let me just plug in Sam Houston National Forest and show you how big it is. Well, it doesn't highlight it. But anyways, all this darker green here is the Sam Houston National Forest. And it is massive. I don't know how many acres it is exactly, but I feel like it's a couple 100,000. So the north side of the lake is gorgeous, but it's really untouched. If you're boating here in the summer, Most of the south side of the lakes is clear. You don't have to worry about stumps. You can wakeboard, ski, whatever. If you fall off, you're not gonna get hurt. But the second you go onto the north side of the lake, there are some channels that you need to be able to follow. So if it's your first time boating on Lake Conroe, I would recommend getting some kind of GPS maps that overlay and kind of show you the depths of the lake. The lake ranges in depths. At the deepest point, I want to say it's around 70 feet. And then there's definitely some coves down here and out here that are going to be really shallow, maybe just 3 or 4 feet deep. Now, let's dive into kind of the neighborhoods around the lake. So like I said, this quadrant of the lake is going to be the Conroe side of the lake. So it's going to be closer into the freeway. It's going to be a better commute for if you are commuting into downtown Houston. It's a little bit of a trek out here to the Montgomery side of the lake, and especially once you get to the north side, you're out in the country. And so all the neighborhoods are going to be a little bit different around the lake. Most of them are older and built out, but you got some new construction neighborhoods, some starter homes in the 300 to 400s over here on this side of the lake, not on the waterfront. You got some nicer neighborhoods over here. This is still more of a country area. And then as you head out this way, this is the most developed side of the lake. This is where you're going to find April Sound, which is a really nice gated neighborhood. It's been around forever. I really think April Sound is like the American dream of neighborhoods. They've got 4th of July golf cart parades. They have a driving range where you actually hit balls out into the water. So they've got a little bit of everything. So really great gated neighborhood, 27-hole golf course, pool. It doesn't get much better than April Sound for kind of your, I'd say average price point homes in the you've got homes out there in the 350s all the way up to, $1 million plus lakefronts. You also have condos. There are some short-term rental options out here. So that's something that my mother actually owns a property out there that's open water, and they allow short-term rentals. There's not a ton of those opportunities around the lake. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out and we can put together a list of properties that do allow it. And then as you work your way around the lake, you got some smaller neighborhoods out this way. And you've got Cape Conroe, which is a pretty affordable neighborhood that does border the lake. You've got homes out here as low as in the 200s. And then once you get out here, Walden Road connects you out to Walden. Now, Walden is technically a city, I believe. They call it City of Walden just because it's got its own jurisdiction, but really it's out. If you live out here, you say you live in Montgomery. So Walden is this whole peninsula, and you've got really affordable houses out here. You've got condos. Some of them will allow short-term rentals, some won't. So you got a bunch of condominium complexes, and then you've just got your, standard, I would say average housing out here, 300s. And then you, once again, out on the peninsulas, you're going to have multi-million-dollar homes. There's usually a big jump in price between the homes that are on open water and then the homes that are just in the neighborhood. And you'll see that between size, quality, and price. So as you work your way up around the lake and you start to head back towards the Willis side of the lake, one of the nicest neighborhoods on the lake, without a doubt, is going to be Bentwater. Bentwater, let's see what kind of photos they have here. I mean, it is a gorgeous neighborhood. They've got one of the better golf courses in the whole North Houston area out there, and it's got a yacht club. It's on the lake, and the homes out there are beautiful. And they've got a wide range of homes from really the 400,000s on the interior lots all the way up to about $5 million open water estate homes on, half an acre. So they've got it all out in Bentwater. Bentwater is gated, so it's very private, very secure. It's got a clubhouse. They've got a salon in the clubhouse. This to me is it's a really good neighborhood. It attracts a lot of retirees because it is kind of out here. It's not quite in the hustle and bustle of Conroe or Montgomery. There isn't a ton of development on 1097 yet. That's to come. And so if you live out in Bentwater, you very much are on your own island. You got to go about 10 minutes over here to the grocery stores. But it's really not that bad in the scheme of what you're getting. If you really want that lake life, Bentwater is a fantastic neighborhood. And then right here, just while we're on it, Scotch Ridge is a public boat ramp. Right over here is actually, I don't know exactly what they call it, but they call it Party Cove, essentially. So in the summers, this is where you're gonna see 50, 100, sometimes even 150 boats tied up or just beached right here. And everybody hangs out and drinks, plays music, has a good time. And then Once you get north of the 1097 bridge, this really is one of the best areas to ski on the lake. It's got really flat water, and the reason being is because it's not bulkheaded. So if you look at this photo right here and you see my arrow, you'll see that this is bulkhead. So this is what I mean. So most of the south side of the lake is bulkheaded, and what that causes is it doesn't allow the energy to transfer off the water. And so you get a windy day, you get a whole bunch of wake surfing boats with thousands of pounds of ballast in it, causing waves, and then you've got nowhere for the energy to disperse. You know, the south side of the lake can get really rough. So it is very nice to be able to go up to the north side where you just have natural beaches. It's not bulkheaded, it's part of the national forest, it's beautiful, it's lined with pine trees, and so the water over here is a lot smoother. Now, like I said, you need to know where you're skiing here because there are stumps under the water. When they built Lake Conroe, they a lot of times just cut some of the trees down below the water line, but as the water level fluctuates, some of those stumps can stick up and it could not be pretty. So you need to be safe out there. And I would say really only the lower half of the lake is utilized by most boaters. I'd say 90% of the boaters hang out here. This is where you're gonna have all your 4th of July fireworks and parades on the different holidays and New Year's. And so you definitely wanna be on a bigger boat on Lake Conroe, especially on the south side. Anything under 20 feet, you're gonna get beat up pretty badly. I had a 17-foot bass tracker out on Lake Conroe for a year, and it was pretty rough. So now, if you're into bass fishing, you're gonna wanna fish the entire lake. It is a good bass lake. It's a very difficult bass lake, but a lot of people will fish all the way up in here. And this is a long run. I don't know how many miles it is, but a lot of the fishing tournaments will start off in these marinas, and you'll have to run 30 minutes up here, you know, at 60 miles an hour to get to some of these fishing spots. They've got some really cool campgrounds up here on the north side of the lake. They also have a really cool little neighborhood over here that's on the lake that's it's being developed as we speak. And so it's more of like a secluded getaway on the north side of Lake Conroe. And then circling back, you actually have a ton of development going on. We just did a vlog on the Woodlands Hills. The Woodlands Hills is located right here off Highway 830. It's developed by Howard Hughes, which developed the Woodlands. And so tons of new development coming out here. So I hope that gives you a good idea of Lake Conroe and how it's laid out as far as neighborhoods go. As far as restaurants are concerned, let me just plug in restaurants and see what pops up here on the lake. So, well, it's not wanting to show me, but most of the good restaurants on the lake are gonna be on the south side. So you really have two stretches where you're gonna have restaurants that are on open water. So you got like Papa's on the lake, which is really cool. It's kind of like a classic biker bar actually, but they've got a beach volleyball court, they've got a swimming pool. Conroe Lake House is actually a newer one. It used to be a different restaurant, it got renovated, but they've got a playground, open water, looks like they got a pirate ship now and green beer. So anyways, some cool restaurants along here. None of them are gonna be like classy, fancy steakhouses. There is one called Amore, which is right here. It's probably the nicest restaurant out along the lake. But then you're gonna have like this fun area. This is Fajita Jack's. This is where you're gonna pull up. This is probably the largest section of restaurants out on the lake. And this is where you come get your fajitas, get your margaritas, dock up. This is where people party. You've got Akashi over here too. It's a really good sushi spot. They actually used to be over here, as you can see, and now they opened up an even bigger restaurant. So, and then as you work your way around the lake, like I said, there's really not too much over here. One of our favorite restaurants on the lake that's very down to earth and is more of a mom and pop is gonna be Guadalajar's. It opened up maybe 2 years ago during COVID, and they've got a really cool thing going on out there. The food's really high quality. Harry, the guy that runs it's great. So check out our vlog on the Woodlands Hills to see more about that. And then you're also gonna have marinas all around the lake. So when it comes to boating and lake life, you've got boat storage facilities pretty much all around the lake. You've got some that are full service. So you just call ahead, they'll put your boat in for you. And then it really doesn't get much better if you've got the money for it to just join a boat rental club. And so they've got Freedom Boat Club, which is right over here. Let me pull it up. So Freedom Boat Club, if I can click properly and my computer will work. Freedom Boat Club is great. So our neighbors are actually members of it. They invited us out a couple weeks ago. Fantastic experience. You call ahead, let them know you're coming, you show up, you get on a brand new boat, it's loaded up with gas, you go hang out for a couple hours, drop it back off, don't even have to clean it, and you call it a day. So they've got everything on Lake Conroe. They got boat rentals, they've got boat dealerships, so if you want to buy a boat, if you don't already have one, and then yeah, they've got boat repair places. So it really is, you know, everything you'd expect around a major lake in a major metroplex. So if you've got any other questions about Lake Conroe, I hope this helps. Feel free to reach out to us. One other thing on Lake Conroe before we wrap up, they do seasonal lake lowering. So lately the lake's been pretty full. We haven't had too many issues. We had a pretty rough drought this summer, but I think we've gotten enough rain to get it back close to full. But you know, during Hurricane Harvey, it was really the first time in my lifetime that the water got up over some of the bulkheading around the lake. Now, most of the area around the lake, since it's up out of the floodplain, it didn't really flood. Usually everything downstream along the San Jacinto River is what starts to flood. But there were some homes on Lake Conroe that flooded. Now what they do is they do seasonal lake lowering. So it's hurricane season while we're filming this. In fact, you know, Florida just got hit really bad with one yesterday. So they lower the level of the lake by releasing water from the dam to accommodate any potential storm. So usually they'll start to lower it around August, September as we start to see more storms on the horizon. So hope that helps you. If you've got any questions, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a quick email, and we would love to help you make a smooth move right here to Houston, Texas. We'll see you guys in the next video.